Flags in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing, boys.
Already got loose on the bottom.
I'm not hitting the brakes next time, Dowdy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for Monday Night Action from the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series here tonight at Charlotte for the QSR Paints 200. My name is Trevor Earhart. Joining me in the booth, Justice Murphy, and running the production is going to be Rob Rader. Justice, after an exciting week last week at Nashville, we come to the Charlotte, the track that everybody knows pretty well. Should be expecting a good show here tonight.
Yeah, we go from the home of the greatest musical genre in the world, Trevor, to the home of racing here in Charlotte tonight. I'm ready to see these boys battle. We got some new guys. Looks like we got a new guy putting it on the pole. Got some faces that we've seen win so far this season. Been fast all night in practice. So really excited to see how these boys kick it off tonight here in Charlotte.
That's going to be a fun race to watch. New faces that we haven't seen yet. Old faces we have seen. First-time winners. The last 2 weeks, will we get another first-time winner, not only in the Revo Racing Truck Series League, but in Racing Revolution as a whole. So we'll see if that plays out tonight. But 134 laps here tonight. Stage break at lap 30, no fast repair, and 75% fuel, so about 30-ish laps, 34 laps on fuel. So it'd be a pretty tight window for that first stage, which should really make things exciting.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't really realize, Trevor T. Look at a map of this track. Not a perfect symmetrical track there. If you cut it dead in half, 3 and 4, just a little bit bigger radius, a little more turn to it. So 1 and 2 is a little bit tighter. These boys are going to be fighting it all night. These trucks love the cool temperatures of the nighttime racing. What they don't love is staying together as they start to lose the handle here at Charlotte. So we're going to see a lot of big runs, a lot of guys trying to make trucks fit where they really don't want to fit. I'm interested to see who's going to be willing to take the big risks early and just try to set themselves up for what may be some long green flag runs that we traditionally see here.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Before we get to the starting lineup, quick shout out to the league sponsors, Coastal Financial and Slurp Sodas. More on them later tonight. But on the pole for tonight's race, William Gay in the 44 machine going to start us off in that front row with Tate McDonald his outside. Dylan Picklesheimer is going to roll off in third with James Loveland in fourth. Parker Johnson will roll off in fifth with Chris Stamper in sixth. Clint Cox will roll off seventh with Al Likens in eighth. Kevin Orlando is going to start in ninth with Scott Negus in 10th.
And we've got Jeff Israel Jr. in 11th, Dominic Hughes starting beside him in 12th. Grant Thorpe and Quentin Stewart together in row 7. Jackson McGeorge 15th, Michael Reed in 16th. Caleb Gilbert and Jake Williams together there in row 9. And Trevor Keith and Joseph Gendron in row 10, Trevor.
Michael Bennett will roll off in 21st with John Fike, last week's winner, to his outside in 22nd. Alex Berube is going to start in 23rd with Frank Hughes in 24th. Jacob Sarkovich will roll off 25th with Wayne Lowe in 26th. Justin Hughes will start in 27th with Eddie Donahue in 28th. Chris Schaefer is going to start in 29th, and Kyle Diaz will roll off in 30th.
And Nick Alves will follow him in 31st. Danny Veach in 32nd. Devin Hudgens 33rd. And Dustin D. Adams shotgun on the field in 34th, Trevor. A lot of guys that were quick. A couple guys that finished top 5 last week starting in the back third of the field. Going to have to make their way up here throughout these 134 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. A couple of fast guys going to the back of the field tonight. Tate McDonald, Dominic Hughes, Kyle Diaz, all with penalties from last week's race. And that's going to be our outside pole sitter going to the back of the field here at the beginning of this race, Justice. So one to watch out for is going to be that 29 machine coming from the back of the field to the front. So it's going to promote James Loveland to the outside pole position of William Gay. as we get ready to take the green flag here tonight.
Yeah, pace car getting ready to pull off. Fred and Barney looking at each other, thinking we're about to see some trucks rumble, boys. As we get ready to pull into the zone, this is a pretty short roll to the green flag here, Trevor.
Waiting for that green flag to be in the air. William Gay waiting patiently for the green flag to wave. Green flag is out, and we go racing for 134 laps here for the QSR Paints 200 as William Gay tries to pull away from the 54 machine of James, or 56 machine of James Loveland. Dylan Picklesheimer trying to follow suit with the draft Parker Johnston, as well as Chris Stamper there, the top 5 in Justice. It's like a mini super speedway, they say, here around Charlotte with these trucks, with how important the draft is. And right now, William Gay trying to do everything he can to hold everybody behind him as they head into 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's going to take a few laps for them to get sorted out here, but for a little bit, as we see Dylan Picklesheimer get a little loose, it's going to cause a big checkup there.
Oh, there they go. They're
wrecking in the back there, big. And that is where it does turn into a mini super speedway very quickly.
It's all started with the 9 machine getting loose off the exit of turn number 4. One of the parts of the racetrack, Justice, that I think we were kind of watching for in practice, but new tires, cold tires as well, as sends the 9 machine a little bit loose and sends the field scattering in the back in one truck with heavy damage, and that's going to be the 55 machine. But here we go with a replay of what happened on the exit of turn number 4.
Yeah, just similar to what we see at the supers. You get checked up, starts accordioning back, and these guys just, you know where to go. You're trying to check up, can't do it quick enough. As we see, finally, it just gives in. Little contact in the rear, sends a guy into the wall, bounces off, makes contact with another. You're spinning, wrecking, trucks everywhere, and you're trying to figure out where's it safe to go. One of those things about Charlotte here is we're getting on board with Grant Thorpe, who was, just collected. Nothing you can do there. But maybe saves himself a little bit here as he got the second hit. It kind of straightened him out, but one of those things you can't do at Charlotte. You can't just run all the way down. You eventually run into wall right there at pit entry if you're not careful. So, you got to be a little bit worried there. But, quick start to the race for some. Others wishing they had maybe qualified just a hair better.
That's the risk of qualifying in the back of the field. Several trucks with the dreaded meatball flag, the required damage flag in iRacing that I can see here, as we have several trucks down pit road. Heaviest contact there we saw with the 60 of Al Likens, Quentin Stewart right there getting turned around as well into the wall. Justice, is there's about a dozen trucks or so on pit road getting repaired here.
Yeah, this is a rough start, but these boys will figure it out. This is a lot of times where now it probably settles in a hair. I think maybe the 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer learns a little lesson there. Hey, it's cold tires. You got to give it a little minute. This actually goes back to kind of what I was saying, where 3 and 4, you have a little bit wider turn that you have to make there. And if you misjudge it compared to what you're doing in 1 and 2, you can get yourself in trouble. And that's kind of what it looked like maybe happened with Dylan. Tried to accelerate in a similar field point as 1 and 2, and it just wasn't quite happening there for him.
And just didn't stick, as we get a nice up close view of the 19 machine of Alex Berube, and Justice looked like he was in the middle of that wreck, got into the 60 machine of of Jeff Israel, and looks like got saved by the internet gods and doesn't have any front end damage.
Yeah, that's similar maybe to what we saw happen to Trevor Keith last week when we pulled him in the booth and he proceeded to tell us he didn't have any damage after we watched him wreck twice. So, yeah, it's one of those things that unfortunately happens in sim racing, or fortunately if you're Alex there. So, Jess, if you're watching this, I didn't mean that. It's a fortunate thing for him that happened, but just one of those things when you're online, everybody's got internet, and it can sometimes not agree with each other's internet.
Yeah, it's the joys of racing people around the world. Sometimes the internets don't sync up properly, but lucky break there for the 19 machine of Alex Berube. We'll see if he can continue to work his way through the field. Jeff Israel still on pit road with the required damage flag, and a couple of other drivers, I believe, still on pit road as well. The 55 of Scott Negus and the 61 of Frank Hughes. The 3 trucks still sitting on pit road, getting damage repaired, but getting ready to get back to the restart here, get restarted after that quick I guess, one lap run, if you want to call it one lap, that saw the 9 machine get loose and cause about a 10 truck stack up there on the exit of turn number 4. But here we go, pace car pulling off. It's going to be William Gay, James Loveland, Dylan Picklesheimer, Chris Stamper, the top 4, Parker Johnston in 5th. So we roll into the Geico restart zone, waiting for that green flag to wave. And there we go, in a late start by that 44 machine. The 9 machine gives them a little bit of a bump, and that checks up the inside line, Justice, as they head into turn number 1.
Yeah, he had to check up on the inside lane, but the outside lane also didn't get a great start, as there was a little bit of a gap between the 5 of Chris Stamper and the 56 of James Loveland. We're 3 wide here for just a second at least, back behind these guys as the top few try to get it sorted out here. I think they all would like to just get single file, maybe go green, but at the same time, you don't want to give up a ton of track position. It can really kill you here at Charlotte.
Yeah, you don't want to give it up, as it's going to be hard to pass. And once these tires start to wear off, I think we'll see how difficult it is to pass. But right now, we're 2 by 2 from second all the way back to about 12th position, as everybody tries to figure it out. It looks like the top line starting to prevail around the 9 machine of Dylan Picklesheimer, who got a little bit loose out of the exit of turn number 2, and is falling back now to battling with the 5 of Chris Stamper, as James Loveland, Parker Johnston able to clear him as they continue to stay stacked up for 4th position with the 5 and the 9 machine. And then we got Clint Cox, the Daytona winner, going to battle with, I believe that's going to be the 4 machine, or I'm sorry, the 40 machine there of Al Likens.
You got Al Likens up there above him, and again, it looks like everybody's just trying to find their spot in line. The 5 and the 9 can't quite get it sorted, as Al gets a pretty good run there on the 03 Clint Cox. Gets back to the outside door to door, and if you're going to make a pass on the outside, Trevor, it's probably down here in 3 and 4. Where you can kind of force your opponent on the low side to stay down there. As we see the 5 of Chris Stamper make a little crossover move on the 48 of Parker Johnston to 3rd.
Yeah, had a really good run there to turn number 4. Use that momentum, and now we're going to try to pull a little bit of a slide job on that 48 machine. Parker not going to give it up easily there, Justice, as he fights back to the outside and actually gets back to the door. And he's going to try to hold that position as they head into 3 and 4, but a little bit of lack of traffic coming back onto the racetrack. That's Kyle Diaz in the 26. Having to serve a penalty that's going to insert himself and make this a 3-wide battle for a couple of positions, as Dylan Picklesheimer gets caught up behind him.
Yeah, Dylan Picklesheimer got the worst end of that deal, as the 5 of Stamper and the 48 of Parker Johnston kind of figured out a way around them 3 wide. It looked like the 03 maybe forced the 9 down there to use the 26 as a pick. So that one of those things, it's all is fair on the racetrack sometimes. That's one of those things you just let happen. So yeah, it looks like they've maybe sorted out this battle here in the top 8 or so, Trevor. The 26 of Kyle Diaz is going to kind of settle in here as Kevin Orlando tries to pass him and get himself back with the lead lap cars battling. As they look like they're going to kind of calm down just a little bit, Trevor.
Yeah, just a little bit. Loveland's starting to close in on the race leader down to about a 1/10 of a second. So we'll see if that battle for the lead heats up. Dylan Picklesheimer going to try to take it to the inside of the 91 machine of Michael Reed. That's going to be back there for 7th and 8th position. And back behind them, it's kind of single filed out. A couple of drivers battling way back toward the back of the field. Devin Hudgens and the 3 of Justin Hughes. That's a battle for 16th and 17th. But right now we're watching Picklesheimer and the 91 of Michael Reed go to battle for 7th and 8th position.
Yeah, neither guy wants to give up here. Again, understanding how big the track position is, especially as they race side by side longer, as we actually see a battle for 3rd heating up too as well up there, Trevor, with the 40 and the 48. But yeah, you don't want to give it up. You're kind of burning your stuff up a little bit, staying side by side, making it all that much more important that you actually get in front of the guy and clear him, because if not, then you're kind of behind him, and everybody that's been saving a little bit gets to just fly by you, and that's not what you want to see. So we see the 27 of Kevin Orlando, though, getting a big run on this 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer.
Yeah, Kevin with a great run there down the back straightaway, closed right up to the rear bumper of the 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer, and we'll see if he can get an equally good run here out of turn number 4. Behind him, Caleb Gilbert trying to bring a handful of trucks with him. He's got Chris Schaefer, Trevor Keith, Alex Berube, Michael Bennett behind him, and Kevin looking to the inside here, but Picklesheimer going to close him off, and Kevin has to back out of it there, Justice, and loses about 2 truck lanes through the middle of the corner.
Yeah, the minute somebody blocks your run, you talk about how big of an air gap last week that these guys or the trucks make, right, where they're just punching a huge hole in the air. When you make that run, if the guy covers you off like that, it kills your momentum, but it makes the truck very tight. So the nose just shoves straight up the racetrack. You lose all momentum, lose a couple truck lengths. Now you're trying to fight back, build momentum over the next couple laps. As we see the 40 and the 48 here, Trevor continuing to try to fight each other up here for the battle for third and fourth. As we've seen James Loveland fall off of the 44 William Gage just a little bit.
Yeah, what happened was the 56 machine got up into the outside wall, exited turn number 4. I was just gonna say, you want to talk about killing your momentum? Nothing kills it more than collecting that wall. It doesn't look like it did a whole lot of damage to the side of that 56 machine, but you lost a little bit of time for the 44 of William Gay. And right here, we go back to this is gonna be a battle for 5th on back. Chris Stamper kind of holding up the 03, Clint Cox, Michael Reed. You see Dylan Picklesheimer, Kevin Orlando there as everybody's basically nose to tail Justice till you get back there behind the 19 of Alex Berube, where they're battling side by side for 13th and 14th.
Yeah, you're starting to see something happen, though, kind of further back here. Some of these guys are starting to migrate upward just a little bit. The longer this goes green, I would not be surprised to see the middle lane become the preferred lane as these tires get a little older. These guys are going to be searching for everything they can. If you've got the better tires, if you've got a tire advantage, you're going to be able to pass low all night. But at some point, if you're just racing guys with even tires, you're going to need to get up there and hold momentum. And so we see some guys starting to try to make that move. As you see the 24, Nick Alves, lose it a little bit here further back in the pack, but regains control, going to keep it green here.
Great save there by the 24 of Nick Alves. That's kind of a gaggle of trucks. And got the 24 machine sideways up front. A little bit of a chaos as they came up on the slower truck of the 61 of Frank Hughes. But here we go on board with the 20, or on board here as we see what happened to the 24 of Nick Alves as they head into 3 and 4 here. And just as something happens to the inside there, so it's in Nick that sends him down onto the apron.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he was still fighting it a little bit off of turn 2. Trying to get down there into turn 3, get himself set up, just never quite comfortable and loses it a little bit. Just one of those things that happens in these trucks, the way that these steering racks work. So these things are interesting, to say the least, between the steering rack and the arrows. We've got a battle, side-by-side battle here for 4th and 5th between the 91 and the 48. And the 5, the 27, the 03, and the 54 kind of all under a blanket. 6 trucks battling for a couple of positions here.
And they got to be careful here as they come up on the lap traffic. And Parker almost thought about going into the grass to get a run back on the 91. And they're wrecking behind Caleb Gilbert. Contact with the lap truck. We stay green, but just like that, Calamity strikes inside the top 10 as the lap truck gets in the way, and heavy damage to the rear end of that 54 machine, and caution.
Yeah, it looks like the lap truck just kind of was stuck up on the top side there. Brought that caution out. But yeah, that can happen. You start to feel lap traffic, get them around. However you get to them doesn't matter. But when you go to get around them, if there's not enough room and guys start squeezing each other, it makes it tough. See, 39's kind of up in the wall. Got guys reacting to it, and finally draws the caution out here as he stops on track. So unfortunate end of that green flag run there, Trevor, as it was starting to get really good. Starting to see some migration, but going to be interesting here. You got 4 sets of tires laying in the pits. What do you think Larry Mack's telling these boys right about now, Trevor?
I mean, it's a tough call. 4 sets of tires, 134 laps. Your stage break is going to be in about 10 laps. You're going to restart this thing with about 6 laps to go in the stage. That's a tough call. Maybe some guys come down and get some damage fixed. We know the 5 of Stamper's got some damage. Caleb Gilbert's got damage. Loveland's got a little bit of damage from getting up into the wall. But looks like top 5 staying out. 7 stay out. Here comes the 5 machine down pit road. And it kind of looks like a split decision here, Justice.
Yeah, even the 54 Gilbert stayed out there with some damage. So, I guess guys saying, hey, stage is coming up. If you're a guy like Caleb Gilbert, probably think maybe I can hold off a couple of guys here for a couple of stage points. We'll see what he's got as you see the 26 truck of Kyle Diaz getting ready to take the lucky dog here. Get his lap back. When he does that, Trevor, that'll put 27 trucks on the lead lap. So a lot of guys still in contention. Believe it or not, even though it's not a super speedway, everybody right now from 1st to 27th has a chance at this thing. Just play your strategy right. You never know how the cards fall.
Yeah, you never know how it will fall, and this actually gives a lot of drivers that might have been caught up in that first incident on lap one, a chance to come down and get some more of that damage fixed and put them in a position to be more competitive. So we'll see how that works out for them. We've had two drivers call it a night tonight: Jeff Israel in the 60 machine, and then Quentin Stewart in the six. All have both called it a night. Scott Negus still on pit road getting some damage repaired, along with the 98 of Jackson McGeorge, Frank Hughes, and Dominic Hughes, all drivers that are currently a lap down or more from that first incident there, Justice.
Yeah, just mixed bag there, but surprised we didn't have a few more pitters. As it looks like you're gonna, by the time this sorts out, you're gonna have about 14 trucks on track that haven't pitted at all. You have some that only pitted for damage, but if I had to guess, you're gonna have one or two maybe that took some tires here. Maybe try to save it a little bit because you're buried in traffic. You're probably not making it up to get to stage points, so let yourself stay buried in traffic. Don't burn the tires off. You're not going to go a lap down, even if you run 4 seconds off pace here to the stage. So, not saying that's something that I might think about doing at some point, Trevor, to give you any of my strategy. But, just run a couple seconds off pace, get the tires up to temperature, let them cool back down, and then you're going to probably cycle up to the lead. Give yourself a chance to get out there and lead some laps.
We'll see how it plays out. I think the last time you tried some different strategy at Charlotte, it ended up with you in the wall in the back straightaway. But, that's beside the point. But with this quick caution, we'll give you a quick shout out to our primary sponsor of the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series, and that is Coastal Financial, whose job is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering their clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find Coastal Financial at coastalfinancial.com, and of course on Facebook at Coastal Financial. We appreciate everything that Coastal Financial does, not only for the Racing Revolution Truck Series, but also for the Racing Revolution Cup Series on Wednesday nights. Justice, as you see Nick right there in the 24 machine, survived that little spin that he had, and it looks like he's getting ready to restart back there in about, I believe, 15th or so.
Yeah, rocking a few of our favorite colors there with Coastal Financial on the hood and the primary colors on the car. Rocking the Revo Racing Network logos as well. Trevor, we've got a handful of those guys tonight. Guys that we have not asked to do that. Those guys just, for whatever reason, like us just enough to get them on the truck. Guys like Nick, John Fike, Trevor Keith, and Jacob Serkovich all running those colors. So. Great to see those trucks out there, along with all these other fantastic paint schemes. You got guys that are spending a lot of time getting these things ready, and these boys get some really pretty looking trucks out there.
That they do. I think Kevin Orlando also with I think he's got Revo on the hood of that machine. And it's been great support from everybody in the league showing up and supporting not only the truck series as it's on its third race now of its inaugural season, but also us up here in the booth. With this being our third race. And then again on our Thursday night TTR Short Track Series broadcast, as well as they get ready to start their third round of their playoffs at the Bull Ring on Thursday night. So if you want more great racing action and want to hear our voices some more, you can tune in Thursday night to the Revo Racing Network and check out some short track series and some street stock cars. And I will tell you this, if y'all haven't watched iRacing or or you're just now getting into iRacing and watching it, tune into Thursday nights. Those guys put on a heck of a show every week.
Yeah, I last week, Trevor, we did a little. They did a little pavement racing. They do pavement racing every time, but the track they were at, it looked like they were at the Chili Bowl Nationals. So the way they were throwing slide jobs, those guys put on a heck of a show. Nothing short of a fantastic show every time that we're there. So I expect more of the same every time we show up, man. They're where are they going next week, Trevor?
Going to the Bull Ring to start their third round of the playoffs.
Man, I can't wait to see how they sling the cars around that little bitty place. You've seen some tempers flare there. Guys that on the national level cut their teeth there. The Bush brothers been there. Noah Gregson, so Riley Herbst, all those guys from the Vegas area. So that'll be very interesting to see the battles that proceed there.
That's going to be a fun one to watch. That's going to be a Thursday night over here on the Revo Racing Network. But for tonight, we're here at Charlotte for the QSR Paints 200, working on our second caution of the night, getting ready to have a quick little 6-lap dash here to the stage break at lap number 30, led by William Gay, who's led the whole race so far, the opening 24 laps. James Loveland's going to restart second. Michael Reed, Al Likens, Kevin Orlando, Parker Johnston, Caleb Gilbert, Clint Cox, Chris Schaefer, and Alex Berube going to be the top 10 here, Justice, on this restart.
Yeah, got to really watch out for the launch here, getting the tire spin. Who can get the truck settled down first and get a good little grip on the track. Once that happens, you're probably going to take off pretty nicely, kind of settle into position, but perhaps not. Maybe with 6 to go, these boys think it's time to get Daytona style and run 2x2 for just a few laps.
Well, we're going to find out. Pace car is off. William Gay going to lead us down into the Geico restart zone as he's waiting to see when he wants to restart. Last time was really late. This time he's going to jump on the throttle early, and it's a great start from the 44 machine. James Loveland with a little bit of a late start. He's got Al Likens all over the rear bumper. That's actually going to allow the 91 machine of Michael Reed to clear him for that second place position as they head down out of turn number 2.
Yeah, and these top 5 or so single file out. It looks like maybe the top 7 single file out. As the battle back here is, like I said, with Caleb Gilbert, Alex Berube, Chris Schaefer. As these guys try to sort it out. Now we see some diving and moving going on up front as we see the 91 machine all over the back bumper of the 44.
And here he goes to the inside for the lead. It's going to be Michael Reed, William Gay battling it out for the lead behind them. They're 2x2 for third on back, but Reed with the power on the inside clears that 44 machine pretty easily through the middle of 1 and 2, and new leader here halfway down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Reed saved a little bit of tire on that run. Trevor got just a little bit more power underneath him, got the pedal down, got off the corner there, middle of 1 and 2, and said, I'm going to see you boys later. As he is now cleared by about an entire truck length, which is pretty impressive when you consider how big the draft is. But now we've got a side-by-side battle between Kevin Orlando Jr. and the 40 of Al Likens as Kevin tries to clear him here in the 1 and 2.
And Kevin slowly moving his way up through the field, up 6 spots from where he started, but not the biggest mover of the night. Michael Reed up 15 spots to the lead position. Alex Berube up 16 spots from where he started. You can see him right there looking to the inside of the 56 of James Loveland, who I think with that damage, Justice starting to fall back through the field. But Orlando getting close to getting clear of the 40. A little bit of contact between Al Likens and Clint Cox, though. But they all keep it straight. And the 44 machine had a moment as well as he's fallen into this group of drivers as they head back into turn number 1.
If you want to talk about guys making their way forward, the 19 machine of Alex Concrete Berube on the asphalt surface, proving he's got something for these boys. Steady moving his way up 18 positions. The real battle for position movement, Devin Hudgens in 11th needs one more position to get stage points after starting 33rd. So that may be a great battle, but we continue to see these boys mix it up front. James Loveland trying to get back underneath Al Likens and gain a few more stage points back for himself.
Yeah, Kevin Orlando got up into the outside wall. It's about the 5th driver I've seen do that out of turn number 4. Got up into the outside wall, Loveland with the crossover move, but up for second place. Here comes Alex Berube to the inside of the 44 of William Gay. Had to get out of the throttle, though. He's got a little bit tight through the center of turn number 3, but exited turn number 4. Here comes that 19 machine looking for that second spot. I think he's just going to run out of time as this is the white flag here in the stage. Justice is ahead into 1 and 2.
Yeah, you see the 44 having to chase it up the track. The 19 clears him, though. So that's going to be big as you see the 03 of Clint Cox. He's going to try to make his move on the 44 of William Gay down here in the 3 and 4 for the 3rd position in the stage here.
Here comes Cox to the inside of Gay out of turn or through 3 and 4. Just not quite going to have enough momentum, I don't think. As they exit turn number 4, William Gay going to hold on to that 3rd place. Michael Reed going to be the stage winner as cautions out here, Justice. And stage break brought to you by Slurp Sodas. Refreshingly different, in the stage win for the Slurp Soda stage is going to go to Michael Reed. I gotta say, that was a great battle there. Drivers who saved tires in that early bit of the race there, Justice, showing us how important that is here late in that stage.
Yeah, you could really see it exaggerated there with the restart with 6 to go. Who knew they could push the truck and who knew they couldn't? It's one of those things where if it had run green to the end without a caution, you probably wouldn't have seen some of these guys make it all the way forward. However, because we got the caution and allowed them to get an even restart with the guys that were maybe burned up a little bit, they were able to get up there and make a move. See a guy like Michael Reed win the stage. Alex Berube finished 2nd. Those were guys that had really not been up front quite yet that just picked their way forward, saving those tires.
I did a great job of that. And William Gay holding on for that 3rd place after starting on the pole and leading the first 24 laps of this race. James Loveland fell off there after the contact with the outside wall. Kevin Orlando also got up to 3rd and fell back after he too made contact with the outside wall. And then one of the drivers that we were kind of surprised that stayed out there, Justice Caleb Gilbert, went from restarting inside the top 10 all the way down to 17th with the damage that we saw him gain there in that second caution as the drivers come down for majority of them their first pit stop of the night.
As these guys pull down for service, Trevor, I'll run down our top 10 in the stage there. These guys all earning some stage points. Michael Reed, Alex Berube, William Gay in third, Clint Cox following him, Al Likens in fifth, followed by Kevin Orlando, Dylan Picklesheimer, James Loveland, Wayne Lowe, and Parker Johnston finishing 10th in the stage to get one stage point. So these guys going to be able to carry a little bit extra tonight. For wherever they finish, they have a chance to get up there and, say, hey, I can finish maybe a little worse and be okay because I got a little bit of stage love in there.
And we'll see how many of these guys elect to stay on pit road for a little bit longer with pit stops, maybe getting some damage fixed. But looks like everybody on and off pit road with Michael Reed, back there out in the lead. As I think we're going to pull up a driver here, Justice, to talk to them.
Yeah, William Gay, welcome to the booth. How are you feeling about the truck here tonight, buddy?
Feeling pretty good, man, if I can keep the tires under it.
Well, William, it's I believe your first race here with these guys. I mean, how you feeling? Obviously, other than the tire wear, how you feeling about the racing out there in those first 30 laps?
Everybody's racing pretty clean, man. Everybody's being respectful, and I'm enjoying the race. I really am, for it to be my first race, and we're gonna see what we have for them for this rest of the race.
Well, William, we wish you luck, and hopefully you can hang on to her, and we can be talking to you at the end of the night.
I appreciate it, man.
Yep, good luck.
Thank you, buddy.
Was our pole sitter, William Gay, in the 44 Machine and Justice, talking about tires there a little bit, wishing he just saved them just a little bit better there in that first 30-lap run.
Yeah, kind of one of those things we were suspicious of there, Trevor. We kind of thought that might be the case, and he kind of confirmed that, burned him up a little bit. But I think that had it stayed green, he would have won the stage, right? That's one of those things that happens. It gets spread out. Some of those guys trying to pluck their way back forward, guys that started way in the back, Alex Berube and Michael Reed, it would have just taken them so long to get to him, but kind of get gifted a chance, you take advantage, and that's what those guys did. Speaking of taking a chance here, we have a couple guys that make some interesting strategy calls here. You got John Fike and Dylan Picklesheimer, who pitted there. Gosh, it looks like they have about 12 or 13 laps on the tires by the time you count both cautions there. So these guys staying out, taking a chance that maybe this goes green for about 10, 12 laps, and then you maybe get a caution, you get to pit, go back to the back, you're on fresher tires than everybody. Kind of offset the strategy, see if you can flip something, get in here and get a win. These guys thinking long-term, taking a chance here, but they are going to need a caution probably in, say, 10 to 15 laps, Trevor, to really make this pay off.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Last week's winner there, John Fike, the man who I dubbed last week the man of many words, but I think it was mainly the focus as he was able to get his first career win last week with the interesting pit stop choices there, and actually going to take the outside as well, Justice, to add to the strategy call on the choose. Instead of going to the inside, goes to the outside along with Dylan Picklesheimer in the 9, and that's going to allow the stage winner, Michael Reed, all the way up there to the inside on that front row.
Yeah, these guys have to have a game plan here, right, for starting up there, thinking that they're better off. I'm not quite sure, but you can get a decent enough launch. You make it work. We've seen that middle line, kind of middle to high lane work okay. If you can keep your momentum up, maybe a little bit more comfortable up there for these guys. Maybe that's where they've been running all race. We haven't seen a whole lot of Fike yet tonight, but we have seen Dylan Picklesheimer. He has looked kind of more comfortable not hugging the line. So these guys making a decision they think is best for themselves and going to try to set themselves up to get a good restart, good launch, get out of here. Like I said, for John Fike's purposes, you're trying to lead some laps and catch a little bit of a lucky break if you don't feel like you quite had the speed this week, right? We saw him have the speed last week. That doesn't carry over from track to track, however much we all wish it would. Sometimes you got to do something a little different, give yourself some chances.
See if it's going to work out for him. You got old tires, new tires, and you got to watch out for these new tires on these restarts. They can be a little bit cold and slippery. We saw it at the start of the race, but pace car is off. John Fike going to lead us back to the green flag here after stage one is done and dusted. No more stage breaks as we're going to go racing all the way to the end, and Fike with a great launch over the 91 of Michael Reed. And it was kind of a stack up from about fourth on back is the 44 of William Gay didn't get the greatest of restarts. Reed able to clear in front of the 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer. As they head through 1 and 2, the top four single filed out. It's going to be that battle for fifth behind them between the 03 of Clint Cox and William Gay as they head down the back straightaway.
Yeah, see, that's the tough part. If you were Dylan Picklesheimer, he was right behind the leader there. Also didn't get a good launch. So the 19 of Alex Berube was all over his back bumper, kind of shoved him through the middle of 1 and 2, and then down a little bit of the back straight, was able to clear him, get into third. As you see, William Gay and Clint Cox remain side by side, and there's one quick wreck, Trevor. The more that you bunch this field up, the more this strategy works out for Dylan Picklesheimer and John Fike. As we're going to get ready to get an onboard and see what happened here just momentarily. But these guys' strategy so far, 1 for 1. If they go 2 for 2, there's a good chance that they've reset the tires and they've made a great bed.
And we'll see what happened here at turn number 4, and almost a deja vu moment from caution number 1. Jake Williams in the 51, Jacob Serkovich in the 18, loose out of turn number 4. Get up into the outside wall, and while trying to save it, Jacob just kind of goes ahead and finishes off the 51 machine, who makes hard contact with the 25. I believe that's of Dustin Adams there, Justice. But cold tires again, causing some issues for these drivers at turn number 4.
Yeah, a little bit of mayhem there. As it looks like Jake and Jacob both just super tight off of 4, go up, ding the wall like we've seen all night, and then yeah, Jacob trying to recover, makes a little contact, spins Jake, finishes him off there, coming off the wall. So tough break for both of those guys. Again, beat up truck can be tough to drive, but we saw it last week. Seemed to drive okay, as the trucks had the same problem last week. A little tight off 4, you're dinging the wall. 2 tracks back to back where that exit wall of 4 just kind of sneaks up on you, Trevor. We have both hit those walls, probably our fair share. Just about as much of my paint is on that wall as it is on that bumper from when you wrecked me here, Trevor.
I don't know what you're talking about in terms of the wreck. Now the contact with the wall, yeah, that one. I think everybody in the iRacing service has left their fair share of paint scrapes on the exit at turn number 4 here at Charlotte and at Nashville. Actually, I'm surprised with the number of people that have hit the outside wall on the exit at turn number 4. That the thing hasn't moved back 5 or 6 feet, but nonetheless, you can't beat the wall at its game. It's going to stop you from going where you want to go, but Justice, it's not hard. I mean, when you're trying to make a pass on somebody in front of you, and you're trying to get that run, it just tracks out on you, and before you know it, the wall's there, and you're making contact with it.
Well, and it's not just that. Similar to what I was talking about with Dylan Picklesheimer and Kevin Orlando Jr. earlier, right? Where you go down, you make a block, and it just throws the arrow off of the truck behind you. Same thing happens as you're coming up off that corner. You think, oh, I got to run. Forgetting that the truck is super arrow tight in the wake of the truck in front of you, and all of a sudden you're following them up, smoking the wall, and probably got a couple of bent, who knows? You got a bunch of bent suspension parts, but probably got bent wheels, bent suspension, and bent mind at that point, trying to figure out why in the world you did something quite like that when you know better. But one of the other things that nobody really thinks about as we come to the choose here, Trevor, one of those things that you don't really think about very often, well, I thought we came to the choose. Rob set us up there. Is when the safer barrier got implemented on all these tracks, they didn't move the concrete wall. You simply lost a couple feet of racetrack, right? So the racetracks were built kind of to the mold of where that concrete wall was supposed to be. So you lose a couple feet of that, and then all of a sudden everything's a little tight, right? The exit's a little tight. The straightaways are a little tighter than you thought they were supposed to be. So one of those things, for the sake of safety, one of the greatest safety innovations in NASCAR history, but just one of those things you forget about. You lose a couple feet of racetrack here and there, it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's one thing I don't think a lot of us think about when we come to these racetracks is that safer barrier and how it affected the kind of the line that you run. You go to these shorter tracks that don't have the safer barrier, like your local short track, and you can kind of tell if, I mean, imagine if they took away a foot and a half from those things outside, that would really make those. As I think this time around, we're gonna have the choose cone, but with that, we'll give a little bit of a shout out to Slurp Sodas. They were our stage break sponsor, but also one of the primary sponsors of the league as well. So we want to show them some love. If you're in the Arizona area, or the state of Arizona, if you're in the Phoenix area, be sure to check out Slurp Sodas. They add a splash of flavor to your day. And if you need any general information for catering, visit their website at slurpsodas.com. You can also find them on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, with the at Slurp Sodas. Refreshingly different, Justice. And I got to say, if I was out there in the Phoenix area, definitely one spot I would go check out.
Yeah, visited there back in November, Trevor, and got the truck up and running one day while I was there, and had a couple sips, and those boys sure know what they're doing. If you're out that way, figure out where they're at. Get on that Instagram, get on their Facebook, go check them out. Those boys put in a lot of work, and man, they love taking care of the customers. So great to see those guys hop on. Be one of the main title sponsors of the series, along with Coastal Financial. It takes a lot to put one of these things on. So as far as series goes, right, you're dealing with a lot of people, a lot of moving parts. And so all the help you can get to make it a little more incentive based to show up each week makes a huge difference.
Yeah, huge shout out to them and Coastal Financial. And then you can't forget about our wonderful race sponsor, QSR Paints, as they've hopped on board tonight to sponsor the race here at Charlotte for the QSR Paints 200. But choose cones over and done with. John Fike again gonna like to take the outside. This time it puts Alex Berube, who's looked pretty much like he's the fastest truck in the last 10 laps or so, to the inside, with our stage winner Michael Reed, and then Dylan Picklesheimer going to be in row number 2, Clint Cox and Al Likens in row 3. Is actually, I believe, I got set up this time. The caution delayed an extra lap, Justice, as we're going to go around one more time.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure if you heard it, but yeah, it's about middle of the pack was choosing there, probably about 12th on back. It got delayed, so it's one of those things that happens when you got cars stopped, everybody trying to figure out where to go to choose. That can happen. We have it happen in the Cup Series as well. It's nothing new, the way the game's coded, so you just kind of deal with it. But yeah, the longer you pace, however, the more you feed into the 65 being on the right side of this, the 9 being on the right side of this. Guys back there getting antsy, wanting to go, right? So these guys took their tires early compared to some of these other guys. The longer you pace, the more you pack the field up, the more opportunity you give them to be right back on the same tire strategy, plus have all the track position that they did not have before that. So we'll probably allude to that the more we see if it continues to float that way. But you're going to have guys like William Gay restarting in, I believe, row 4 here, trying to make his way back forward. Michael Reed starting right behind the leader of John Fike here, also wanting to get out there and go back to the lead. So it's going to be fun to watch here.
It's going to be fun to watch on this restart. Can John Fike and those older tires hold off Alex Berube, Michael Reed, Clint Cox, Al Likens, and the like? Will Dylan Picklesheimer be able to stay up front? Time will tell. Pace car is off, waiting for John Fike to get into that Geico restart zone and get us restarted here on lap number 42. And there's the green flag. Fike with a great restart there off that top line. Berube now going to have to battle with the 91 of Michael Reed as they head down into 1 and 2. As Dylan Picklesheimer falls into that 4th place line, they're side by side behind him, but it's going to be the battle for second as they work their way through 1 and 2. Reed, Berube, side by side, banging doors on the exit here, Justice, as they head down the back straightaway.
Yeah, nothing more that John Fike wants to see than those 2 banging doors back there. The harder they race, the harder it is for them to catch you. But they get right to his bumper here, paired up, and that's where you see the tire advantage work out. Even though they're at an aero disadvantage staying side by side, as we now see the 91 clear. And he's trying to make his move, trying to set up John Fike. See a little bit of a bump there as Michael Reed sends it to the inside here. Fike going to manage to hang on to that right rear. Not quite clear there as they get a little tight there off of turn 2, making everybody quiver just a little bit there, Trevor.
Look like a little bit of deja vu from an incident I've seen in the past, but Fike able to back out of the throttle, keeps from turning the 91 up into the outside wall, but it's not going to matter as Reed gets to the lead, but Fike with an aggressive crossover move down through the front stretch as he's going to get to the inside heading into turn number 1. What a move that was, Justice, but I don't know if he's going to have the tires to hang on to it here through 1 and 2, as Reed's going to try to power back up on the outside. And Dylan Picklesheimer actually got to the inside of Berube, and we're going to be 2x2 from first all the way back to about 6th position.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I kind of looked down and was like, all right, the 9 has worked his way back up. So we see those old tires maybe not being so bad as he continues to battle side by side here with Alex Berube. The 91 now sorted himself out past the 65 of John Fike. And we got the 40 now involved with the 03. The 44 directly behind them. Basically got 7 cars under a blanket, 1st through 7th here, Trevor.
Yeah, this is like watching a super speedway race at a 1.5 mile racetrack that's not Atlanta. Everybody in the top 7 pretty much on top of one another, using the draft, bumping each other down the straightaways, trying to get any little bit of help they can. As this is, I think, Justice, this is that stage in the race where you're going to see drivers fall back, save a little bit of tire, and we'll see a late charge from some of the guys further in the back of the field as these guys up in the front continue to battle out. Devin Hudgens now in the 84 machine, a driver we haven't talked about a lot tonight, up 24 spots. He's caught up to the rear end of this pack as Fike gives a little bit of a shove to Reed as they head off into 3 and 4. And Picklesheimer still trying to get to the inside of Alex Berube, gets a little bit tight. They almost make contact on the exit.
Yeah, Dylan Picklesheimer just not quite ready to give up yet. And again, if he can settle into traffic in a single file line, they're probably not going to be able to pass him, Trevor. As we see Alex Berube just can't quite get to the inside of Fike. It looks like he might make it work down here. We will see how far he's willing to dive as he's now inside there. But again, you just kind of get where you can. And see, Fike holds him off, runs that middle to high lane. You just can't pass them there. So going to be very tough because they allowed Fike's tires to cycle a couple times. And while they're not even, they're probably about as close as they're going to get right now. As we see the 03 of Clint Cox run the outside of Alex Berube into the back bumper of John Fike. You know for sure he wants to get there, and you got 19 and 03 with contact. And I can tell you that does not please Alex. We'll see if Alex can make his way back up as he continues to just fall off the board there.
It was a great save by Alex Berube after contact with the 03 of Clint Cox. And I was going to say, John Fike driving this like a super speedway with the blocks he's throwing down the back straightaway, was able to hold on to that position. But Alex Berube goes from racing for 4th position all the way down to somewhere, I believe, in about 18th position for that, or 17th position for that 19 machine. So a long way to go for him to get caught back up to the front of the field. But thankfully, Justice, we still got a lot of racing to do as Dylan Picklesheimer still tries to hold on to the top 5 spot. But Al Likens by him, but one truck heavy into the outside wall. That's our pole sitter, William Gay, with hard contact to the outside wall out of the exit of turn number 4.
Yeah, and then makes a little contact on the entry of 1 with the help of the 34 Wayne Lowe. And that looks like it actually hurt the truck there, Trevor. He is still continuing to not quite be up to pace as the 14 of Michael Bennett now gets to the inside of him. And he's going to try to make a dive. As we see the 03 continue to overlook John Fike. And again, he's just holding him off. He's probably right about now rooting for somebody to spin it out, hit the wall, give him a yellow flag, and let him get in there, get some tires, get up here, compete with these boys on freshies.
Yeah, I think Fike really needing a caution here in the next handful of laps if he wants his strategy to work out. But you got the 2 race winners from the season opener and last week doing battle up here for second place. Clint Cox to the outside of John Fike, and not looking like Fike's going to be able to hold on for much longer to that top 3 spot as Cox is now clear. I'm going to try to run down the 91 machine of Michael Reed, and he's bringing with him now the 40 of Al Likens, who's going to look to the inside here. Justice as Likens tries to work his way up, and those older tires, I think, for the 65 starting to really feel that effect.
Yeah, you know who continues to hang on back here, Trevor, is the 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer. You got trucks starting to run him down, but they just can't quite get by him. So you see the 03 make a very aggressive move, try to get by the 91. As the 91 has a little bit of a connection issue there, blinks out. Behind. Wrecking behind. We're 3 wide for the lead. Holy cow, what a moment.
Big wreck behind Michael, Alex Berube involved. I think I saw Trevor Keith involved, Frank Hughes. Not sure who else. Dylan Picklesheimer, I know, was involved in that.
Start with Dylan Picklesheimer again?
I believe it did. Exit of turn number 4, the Calamity Corner. It would appear for tonight as we'll get a look here at what happens to the 19 of Berube as they come up on this wreck. Goes to the outside, runs over the back of the 15 machine of Trevor Keith, who looks like he was just an innocent bystander there, Justice. But this all happens a little bit further up in the field with Dylan Picklesheimer. We're going to look back here and see what happened to him that caused all this.
Oh, yeah. Looks like the we were talking about how well he was hanging on here. Gaggle of trucks behind him, Trevor, and yep, just kind of gets up off the corner, smacks the wall. Couple guys with nowhere to go. Dylan just keeps fading down. Contacted the 29, the 34, the 14, all end up involved. The 15, the 19, the 61 you see make an evasive maneuver around the 44. William Gay also involved, and we talked about it last week because the same thing happened to Clint Cox. You qualify on pole, you get out there, you run good, lead laps, and then you just are in the wrong place at the wrong time as you get buried in traffic. As we're going to go on board here with Wayne Lowe. Yeah, and the 34, or the 9, sorry, just, yep. Man, that's tough. As I'm sure Wayne gets the call 3 wide low, but it's nothing you can do about it. I mean, unless he goes in the grass, he's not avoiding that.
Now, he had contact from the 29 of Tay McDonald that sent that 34 machine back up into the 9 machine of Dylan Picklesheimer and Justice. We have green flag, or I'm sorry, we have pit stops now. And a little bit of differing strategies as Clint Cox, Al Likens, Justin Hughes going to be the 3 trucks that stay out there. Michael Reed, John Fike, and the rest of the field down pit road for 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, and that's I'm going to say this is a whole lot gutsier than what Fike and Picklesheimer did, primarily because you've run a lot more laps green than they did at any point on their tires. So interested to see what Clint Cox, Al Likens, and Justin Hughes can get accomplished here. Maybe betting on another quick caution, trying to make the math work out in their head about how you split the tire set you have remaining. So we'll see what happens here, but it's going to be very quick that Michael Reed, Devin Hudgens, John Fike, James Loveland, Parker Johnston, those 5 guys have been quick all night, been up front all night. They're going to very quickly close in on you when you're on that kind of a tire disadvantage. So you need something to go your way and go your way quickly.
Yeah, they're gonna need some help, and I think for the fans, once we get to this restart, I think we're gonna give them a nice old crank it up on this restart. Let them hear the trucks and the sights and the sounds here as we get to full speed racing on the restart. But before we get there, got to get through the choose cone, and then all of everybody finishing up their pit stops. And I'm looking at the standings here, Justice, and 25 trucks, I believe, on the lead lap. Maybe a couple of more. Trevor Keith, Dylan Picklesheimer down pit road. My timing scoring not fully up to date on if they're going to be a lap down or not, but getting some damage repaired. So 25, 27 trucks on the lead lap.
Yeah, I believe that Alex Berube in 25th until Dominic Hughes in the pits now. He's going to take over 25th. I believe he's going to be the last truck on the lead lap as it appears that Picklesheimer and that Dylan Picklesheimer and Trevor Keith I've been on pit road for 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes each there. So yeah, they have now fallen at least 1 lap down, Trevor. So 25 cars on the lead lap, 23rd through 25th on pit road right now. Basically 4th through 22nd appear to have all taken their next set of tires. So yeah, again, Clint Cox, Al Likens, Justin Hughes, you need it to go your way very quickly, which as far as it's gone tonight, that's kind of happened, right? You had a quick caution right after a restart, and then it goes green for a little bit, and then we catch another one. If these boys keep in that rhythm, you're going to have this work out just exactly like you want to, because right at the moment, I would say they probably only have about 10 laps of fuel, green flag wise, Trevor. And then you're going to also need tires very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, their fuel window tonight, 30 to 34 laps. So, I mean, they're getting close to that fuel window. And I mean, I guess, yeah, if you go 10 laps, get a caution, or 8 laps and get a caution, it kind of fits your strategy. But then at that point, you're going to go, to the end of the line. You're going to be 23rd, 24th. I don't think anybody else is going to pit if it's that short of a run, but we'll wait and see. Will we see another quick yellow here, Justice, as everybody as most of the field on 4 fresh tires? And that's kind of been the danger zone on the exit turn number 4 with those fresh tires.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting as we see cold tires kind of back in the back again. You got some guys back there that haven't necessarily been there much tonight. You know, you got like Wayne Lowe now, the damaged truck, back there, probably a little frustrated. So we're gonna see what guys will do here, how desperate they may get. As we're actually, it looks like Trevor gonna have 24 trucks on the lead lap, as we had one more go a lap down there while we were talking. But yeah, getting ready to lead it to the green. You've got your top two guys your first two guys in the top row. The 03 and the 40 are on old tires. The 3-car Justin Hughes inside lane there on the front row on old tires. Everybody else behind them on 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Everybody else on 4 Goodyear Eagles. But we're going to do a quick crank it up as Clint Cox leads us to the green flag. Will spin though as there's contact behind him. The green flag is out. We're going to step aside for a quick crank it up. And we're back here on the Revo Racing Network after that quick little crank it up section. We've got some great battling throughout the field. James Leveland's taking over the lead. Parker Johnston out of the inside of the 84 machine of Devin Hudgens as that's the battle for second place. Third, 3 wide. Further in the back of the field is the 3 machine of Justin Hughes up into the outside wall. Everybody's skating by, though, pretty nicely, as I think he made a little bit of contact with the 03 of Clint Cox, Justice. But we made it through a full lap of drivers on fresh tires and getting settled in here for what could potentially be a long green flag run.
Yeah, it was a pretty good save there by everybody around that 3 cars. He hit the wall hard, bobbled, and everybody managed to avoid him, including the 40 who's also on that same tire strategy. These guys need something to go wrong very quickly as they continue to just kind of bleed spots here, Trevor. The 03 at a little less rapid pace than the other 2, but they're continuing to fall off. If they fall too far off and then pit and somehow end up 2 laps down from this, they really put themselves in what we would call the old sucker hole.
Yeah, just a bad strategy call. And, we saw this last week at Nashville with the 03 of Clint Cox in that strategy call that he made that put him back in traffic, got him some damage. And again tonight, which is kind of the oddball strategy call, but we'll see if the 03 can recover from it. Devin Hudgens, though, trying to come back and take that lead spot from the 56 machine of James Leveland, just not able to do so. Now going to come under fire from the 48 of Parker Johnston. Kevin Orlando has worked his way back up into fourth just after he made contact with the turn four wall back before the first stage, but he's recovered nicely up to fourth.
Hey, talk about crazy runs. Also, back behind that, we see the 26 of Kyle Diaz, who was having to get his lap back on the first or second caution there. He is now battling Chris Schaefer for fifth here in that 26 machine. Has really put the effort in, got back up here and making himself work a little bit.
Yeah, another driver having a great run, one that we don't talk about a lot, Chris Schaefer in the 23 machine, up 24 spots from where he started up to fifth position for Schaefer, having himself a great run as he's just ahead of Diaz there and John Fike. Nick Alves also now inside the top 10 in that 24 machine. We've talked about him a little bit, but he's finally cracked the top 10 along with Grant Thorpe in the 77. As here comes Kevin Orlando to the inside of the 48 of Parker Johnston for the battle for third. And Justice, this is kind of where I would expect to see the 48 machine kind of start to fall off a little bit, is about this point in a run where tire wear starts to kick in.
Yeah, you know, we lovingly call Parker Johnson the tire slayer. The problem is, I think he took lessons from the 27 of Kevin Orlando. So this is a battle of who's got less lava on the tires, if I had to guess. But yeah, these guys, they're going to race each other very hard here. Not afraid to burn the tire up and go back to 15th if they have to. So we'll see what they've got here as the 84 continues to also hound that 56 truck up in front. As these guys, first, second battling hard, third and fourth battling really hard. At some point, if you're the 48 and 27, you got to have a gentleman's agreement and just sort this out.
Yeah, I mean, because the more they're going to battle, the more it's going to bring in the trucks behind them, and the more time they're going to lose to the race leaders. But it looks like Parker's able to hold off Kevin for the time being. I think Kevin's going to let it go that easily. Kevin wants that third place position, and you see him all over the rear bumper of that 48 machine as they head back into 1 and 2. And Kevin again going to try to take it to the inside, but I think Parker just using that outside line, holding that momentum, and keeping that 27 pinch down there is really kind of helping the 48 defend this position.
Yeah, and they're going to have an interesting decision here as they enter the corner 3 wide there with the lap truck of Dylan Picklesheimer. But yeah, again, at some point, you can't just keep doing it, right? You're not going to catch the leader doing this. All you're going to do is allow Christopher Schaefer to get up here, pass you. The 26 of Kyle Diaz, get up here, pass you. John Fikes and get up here and pass you because you burned your junk up. So we'll see how long it takes them to sort it out. The sooner the better for the both of them.
Yeah, and on board here with Parker as they work their way through turns 3 and 4, a little bit of a lap truck there in the 25 machine on that outside line, and this is where it's going to get interesting. Exit to turn number 4, Justice. Here we go through the tri-oval, or through the dog leg, I mean, and coming right up on that lap traffic of the 25. Parker has to back out of it, and that's exactly what Kevin Orlando wanted to see there.
Yep, veteran savvy move there from Kevin Orlando. Use that 25 truck as a pick. You have a massive advantage. 25, nothing wrong with what he did there, right? He's not trying to block the 48. He's just trying to run a line, be predictable, make it easy for the leaders to pass him. He did exactly that. He's in that same line back here now. So, yeah, we see it sort out. Back in the top 10, you know, a guy that we weren't sure if he was going to recover, Trevor, but that 19 truck back again. You know, I think there was an old song, Guess Who's Back again? There he is, trying to make his way back forward. He definitely wants to get up here, park this thing in Victory Lane.
You know, I want to say he's got a horseshoe tape somewhere on the dashboard of that truck, because, I mean, he made hard contact with the 15 machine of Trevor Keith. And Trevor's been on pit road and had to get damage fixed. But Alex Berube, I mean, the front end of that truck looks fine. Just the side's got a little bit of damage now after that contact he made with the outside wall. I give up a spot to the 29 of Tay McDonald. But for all things considered, Berube still got plenty of pace in that 19 machine.
Yeah, you talk about another guy working his way back through the field there, Tay McDonald. Down 8 spots from his second place starting position here in 10th, but he's kind of been a non-factor for quite a while now. Trevor got buried in traffic, been having to tough it out through some of these wrecks and things, but perhaps the pace starting to show up now when it matters as the field is really spread out, Trevor. I think this is what happens when you have your really fast trucks make, you know, a different kind of tire strategy call. And so you get a good mix of things as we see those trucks that stayed out had to start pitting there. The 3 of Justin Hughes, the 40 of Al Likens, the '03 of Clint Cox. They are now all laps down, or at least one lap down, trying to work their way back up.
Yeah, it's just a interesting pit call. I'm guessing they were going for the John Fike, strategy there of run 10 laps, get a caution, and then have it all cycled out. You see right there, Clint Cox coming off the pit road after his pit stop, but Justice just didn't work out that way as the field, like you said, started to spread out a little bit. As we look back here at Jake Williams in the 51 machine, who's been in a couple of incidents running in 20th, and now moving forward, you see the 3 machine of Justin Hughes on those fresh tires, and just how quickly the speed difference is going as he blasts by 3 trucks there through the middle of 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's trying hard. You want to get back as much as you can as far as time on the leaders go, and then see where that leaves you. If you're 1 lap down, if you're 2 laps down, whatever it may be. As I'm trying to look here, Trevor, yeah, Clint Cox, Justin Hughes, Al Likens, all 1 lap down, or about a lap and a half. So would love to just unlap themselves naturally. That way they inherit the lead, maybe put the leaders that are out there about a half a lap down. But again, you need this to work out perfectly for you. I just don't know lap count wise. I need Steve Letarte in my ear to tell me if that works out lap count wise. While I'm pretty good at math normally, I'm not quite that quick on my feet with it tonight. But yeah, you see the battle now raging here for 4th and 5th as Kyle Diaz working his way past Parker Johnston, or sure trying.
Yeah, trying to get to the outside. Chris Schaefer's given up a couple of positions in the 23 machine as he's allowed John Fike and Kyle Diaz by. Parker Johnson now giving up that spot to the 26 machine as we've hit that point where if you've saved tires, you're going to start to see the difference in speeds here between these guys as Diaz moves up a spot. Here comes the 65 of John Fike, who Justice on that restart we thought might have had a little bit of front end damage to that machine after he made some contact as they got stacked up on the restart. But for Fike, last week's winner, that machine still looks like it's got plenty of speed in it.
We see an interesting game being played here. I'm wondering what the tire count is, because you got guys like Grant Thorpe, Alex Berube, Nick Alves, 2 of those guys in the top 10 there, 3 of them in the top 10 there, all making a pit stop here on about 24, 25 lap old tires. I'm wondering what they're thinking here, Trevor. They're not, I mean, they would be good on fuel, I would think, to run about 10 more laps, but they've got something working up here with basically 53 to go that they think is going to work out in their favor. So maybe splitting it into thirds from whatever that last caution was. They think that's going to be the best thing that shortens the time of the race up for them.
Yeah, interesting call. I would expect our leaders who all pit on lap 55 to be down pit road somewhere around lap 87, 90, somewhere in that range. The next 5 to 7 laps or so. Those, but Nick, Alex, and Grant electing to come down pit road a handful of laps earlier, and could be electing to make that into a thirds Justice. But it just seems like again an off strategy call that I don't know if it's going to work out if this thing stays green.
Yeah, we're seeing a great mixed bag, which is one of those things you love to see in racing, right? You want to see everybody doing a little something different, playing a game and seeing what works best for them. But I mean, it's a pretty crazy thing we're watching right now. Again, I'm guessing just from the way the lap count works out there, you're trying to split it in thirds from that caution. Puts, like I said, when you put it in perspective like that, it puts Clint Cox, Justin Hughes, Al Likens, those guys in a tough position, splitting it up correctly. It's going to make them run really, really long on sets of tires compared to these other guys and lose a whole lot of time. As you see now, Kyle Diaz to the inside of Kevin Orlando for third. This 26 truck looks like it might have something to drive up to this lead very quickly here, Trevor.
Yeah, looking pretty quick. Loveland's pulled out to about half-second lead over the 84 of Devin Hudgens, but Diaz has been slowly creeping up and running about the second fastest lap times. I'm sorry, he's been running about a tenth quicker, or a half-tenth quicker than our race leader over the last couple of laps, so really closing in on everybody. He's been running about 31.35, and our leader was running a 31.4. 4, and this time by Justice about a tenth quicker. So Diaz really has some speed left in that 26 machine.
Yeah, he's really, really done something good with these tires. You also see John Fike picking them up, putting them down. He's passed Kevin Orlando, just kind of trying to follow that 26 truck through there, maybe thinking, hey, let him burn it up a little more than me, and then I'm going to come in and steal this thing, steal this lead just a little bit. But, yeah, these guys, again, you want to sort it out pretty quickly because I do expect a pit stop to happen sometime in the next, I don't know, Trevor, they can't run much longer, 3 to 4 laps. You're going to pretty much have to pit.
Yeah, pit stops, green flag pit stops relatively soon. I would expect from our race leaders. Did you see Diaz going for the second place position here with Devin Hudgens as they battle out of turn number 4? And that's going to be another point of contention here. Just as these green flag pit stops, a lot of drivers don't practice it. And here at Charlotte, really easy to make a mistake getting onto pit road, maybe hit the pit road barrels, get a speeding penalty, and that could really cost you some either your race or some track position, depending on how you get on and off of pit road.
Hey, are you making a point here, Trevor? It sounds like you're calling me out here. Perhaps about those pit road barrels. We've all acquainted ourselves with those, but I think there's an award named after me that's given out in the Cup Series every now and again, the All About Barrels Award. But yeah, you got to be careful. We've talked about it 2 weeks in a row now, where it's all about the execution. You got to get in and out of the box cleanly. You can't slide through it, have to reverse back, can't get offset left or right. Absolutely cannot afford a speeding penalty. So many things that have to go through the driver's mind. Where do I start my entry? Is it the middle of 3 and 4? Is it late into 4? But it also makes a difference if there's somebody pitting right in front of you. If you're 10 car lengths from somebody, you're also having to judge what they're doing. So, it gets dicey very quickly. One of those things about Charlotte is that pit road entry is kind of a sharp turnoff, and we get a caution here right in the middle of the cycle. And all these guys right now that ran long are what you would call the beneficiaries, Trevor.
Yeah, that is, if you are Clint Cox, Grant Thorpe, Alex Berube, Nick Alves, Al Likens, Justin Hughes, that is the last thing you wanted to see. Was that caution come out? It looks like Eddie Donahue, Justice in the 21 machine, trying to get to pit road, locks it up, spins it back up the racetrack, oncoming traffic, and just like that, caution comes out. And that's one of those things, pit road mistakes. That's what can happen.
Yeah, that's that's going to bury some guys. They're going to all take the wave around. All these guys are going to get to pit. These ones that stayed out from 1st to 13th. That's going to be James Loveland and Chris Stamper are going to pit here. And then we will get wave arounds for the rest of the field as we are getting ready, Trevor, to take an ad break while these guys are getting all sorted out in the pits.
Yeah, we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break as we work our 6th caution of the night here on the Revo Racing Network. We're going to step aside and we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
Flags in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing, boys.
Already got loose on the bottom.
I'm not hitting the brakes next time, Dowdy.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series for the QSR Paints 200 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just a quick thank you to our sponsors, Coastal Financial, whose goal is to provide comprehensive financial planning for all individuals. You can check them out at coastalfinancial.com and, of course, on their Facebook page at Coastal Financial. We'd also like to give a big shout out to Slurp Sodas, which is refreshingly different. You can find them in the Phoenix area if you're out in Arizona. For any of your catering services, or if you're in town and at the local hotspots, look for their truck. You can also find them at slurpsodas.com or on their TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook page at Slurp Sodas. We want to give a huge shout out to those two sponsors, as they've been the primary sponsors of the league, as they've now in their third race of their inaugural season. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to Rob Rader running the production for everybody here tonight. And of course, my partner in crime, Justice Murphy. Justice, has been a great race for these 94 laps. We're thinking one more green flag pit stop here as we're getting ready to go back green, but give us your quick thoughts here.
Yeah, interested to see how this turns out, as you had a guy like Clint Cox take the lucky dog there, but it ends up basically first through ninth as they line up at the moment are on the freshest tires. Those are our guys that ran long there, and then everybody kind of back behind them were wave arounds. They're going to be on kind of a mixed bag of tires here, so you don't know what you're getting here. But 19 trucks on the lead lap. Clint Cox, the lucky dog, starting in the way back of the field, so he wants quick caution. We're getting ready to go back green, Trevor. Let's see what we've got for these last 40 or so laps.
James Loveland, Devin Hudgens, Kyle Diaz, John Fike going to lead us back to the green flag, and Loveland on the loud pedal with a great restart as he clears the 84 machine. But Hughes also able to clear, or I'm sorry, Hudgens able to clear Diaz, but Diaz is going to shove it down here into 1 and 2. And that battle for second now heats up as Diaz trying to get clear, as he looked to be one of the fastest trucks late into that run. And right now, already to the rear bumper of the 56 of James Loveland. Diaz not wasting any time trying to get to that lead spot.
Yeah, he wants that clean air and wants it now, Trevor. As we see him continue to try to clear the 56, and he is going to get clear.
Oh, wrecking behind.
And we're wrecking behind. Is it going to bring the caution out? No, it's going to stay green. His car stays in, their truck stays in the wall there. And that is the 19 of Alex Forget-Perube. And Alex had a tough night, as it looks like he is going to tow and get on out of here. So, bad night for Alex. That's tough. He'll park it, and he'll try again next week as the battle for the lead continues to rage on here, Trevor.
Yeah, that's the Loveland trying to hold off Diaz there, with Hudgens also in serious contact between the 03 of Clint Cox and Alex Berube that caused that issue, as Cox with some damage in that machine, but we stay green. A little bit more contact as John Fike gets into the side of the 27 of Kevin Orlando, as they made a little bit of contact on the entry into turn number 1, but everybody hangs on to it. Still side by side for the race lead, but I think Loveland finally prevailing here halfway down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like he got a really big arrow push there from Devin Hudgens, as Devin Hudgens also tries to clear the 26 machine. He is going to make that happen. So now we're single file, first through fourth. And the minute I say that, Trevor, there goes John Fike to the inside of Kyle Diaz, trying to make a move here. He wants to get back to the lead here. Again, he's on the right side of both strategy calls that he has made tonight. And we've seen it work as he's been able to maintain his track position here now side by side with Kyle Diaz.
Trying to be the first two-time winner in the Racing Revolution Truck Series history is the 65 of John Fike, as he goes to battle with Kyle Diaz. Loveland able to hold off a charge from Devin Hudgens, who tried to make it work on the outside, wasn't able to do so. Fike looking to the inside. Hudgens now looking to the inside as the battle for the lead heats up into 1 and 2. Fike now going to go to the outside, but might lose a little bit of momentum. And Kevin Orlando looking to his inside, but it's the battle for the lead out of turn number 2. Hudgens, Loveland down the back straightaway. The drag race ensues.
Yeah, a couple guys battling hard. A drag race, so a long backstretch, Trevor. So these guys continue to battle hard. Loveland wanting to carry that momentum here off 3 and 4, but it looks like Devin Hudgens is going to get clear. Loveland maybe makes just a hair bit of contact there with that wall, maybe just a little smooch. He's going to recover nicely, hanging on that right rear of Devin Hudgens, but this is allowing Kyle Diaz, Kevin Orlando, John Fike back into this battle for the lead.
Yeah, it just keeps that pack behind them kind of stuck up with them. Nobody able to get in that clean air, and nobody really electing to try to save maybe a little bit of tire here, Justice. When we know it was going to be about a 43-ish lap run to the end of this, they were going to have to make one more pit stop. So, I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's throw caution to the wind. I'm not going to save tires. I don't have to pit. So let's just go out there and ring it out as Hudgens now clear the 56 of James Loveland. Loveland going to fight back to the outside. Diaz just can't quite get clear of John Fike either. Is Fike now going to run up to the back of the 56 of Loveland? And Hudgens, with no drafting help, not going to be able to clear the 56 for the lead as we stay side by side from first all the way back to about 6th position.
Yeah, these guys keep on battling, Trevor, and they're just letting these trucks in second by second. Is now the 65 of John Fike there, just all over the back bumper, the 56 James Loveland. He's actually going to get to his door on the outside here. We'll see if Fike can hang on to that right rear and get a run down the back straightaway.
Yeah, we'll see if he can hang on to it and fight now to the outside. Also, Caleb Gilbert now up into this battle after he's been battling back from the back of the field with some damage to that 54 machine. He's now up here. John Fike, though, going for the lead behind them. Kevin Orlando, Kyle Diaz going for it. Here comes Fike with a great run. Clears James Loveland. Going to use that momentum to try to get to the outside of Hudgens as they enter turn number 1.
And he does get to the outside here, Trevor. We're going to see if he can get the momentum back to get to the right rear here of Hudgens. So Hudgens wants to throw that block. It's going to make that truck a little bit tight, but John Fike carries the momentum. He's going to sling it down to the inside here, make a move. We've got Kevin Orlando back behind that, trying to clear James Loveland as well. And this battle basically for 1st through 6th. From John Fike back to Parker Johnston. Caleb Gilbert also breathing down the neck there. They're making this very interesting here for us.
Yeah, they're making it really, really good, really fun to watch and really fun to call. Here's the battle for the lead, still side by side, 1st through 4th. Not too far behind them. Want to give a shout out to Joseph Gendron in the 86 machine. Justice up to 9th position. First time he's been in the top 10 here tonight. So he's having a great run for himself. Also, Chris Stamper now worked his way back into the top 10 in that 5 machine after we saw him get into some early trouble. So good recovery run for him as well, as Hudgens able to hang on to the lead from John Fike, but they're scattering out down the front straightaway, trying to work any kind of run they can. Here comes Kevin Orlando to the rear bumper of the 65 machine. So he's now going to look into the inside in turn number 1. And that battle for the lead now, I think Hudgens can take a little bit of a deep breath, but not for much, or not for long. I think Kevin and Fike going to close back in on him here in a second.
Yeah, they're trying to close in hard, but again, two guys are going to run each other hard. So as we see Fike clear Kevin Orlando here on the exit of 4. And so now the battle resumes to try to get right back to that 84, see if he can make a crossover move. As Fike gets to the bumper here, it's going to kill some of his momentum there. As crazy as it sounds, when you go to make that entry, if you get to the bumper at just the wrong time, your momentum just dies off. So we see that happen there as James Loveland now got a little bit of a run on Kevin, thought about taking a peek, stuck it back in line as we see guys starting to migrate up on the entry, Trevor. Take a little bit of a wider arc to get down to the bottom. It's a 26 trying to get inside of the 56 here. Looks like he might make it work, and we've seen James Loveland kind of fall off a little bit here, Trevor.
Yeah, not sure if Loveland might be trying to save a little bit of tire for later in this run. We'll have to wait and see, but he's going to give up that 26 position here. This is Kyle Diaz, and I say give it up, but he's going to fight back here on the outside line, trying to hold that 26 machine down there. Fike trying to close back in on the rear bumper of Hudgens, bringing Kevin Orlando with him. Parker Johnston, Caleb Gilbert, going to be the top 7 that are kind of in this little bit of this train. Is the 5 machine of Stampers falling off. As well as the 86 of Joseph and Grant Thorpe going to round out the top 10, but those 3 about 3 to 4 seconds off the lead. The leader here in this lead pack is the 7. It's basically a 7 truck breakaway.
Yeah, I would like to think that maybe some of these guys further back are trying to save fuel, Trevor. But man, you're asking a lot of it. Even if you pitted, say, with the one to go, got topped off, got back to the field. I mean, you're talking about needing to save 9 miles of gas just about to get to the end. I just don't think there's any way that's happening. But that would be the only way I would justify the 7-truck breakaway at the same time. So, interesting spot for these guys is it's now turned into basically a 4-truck breakaway as James Loveland continues to just bleed positions here as he's getting ready to get passed by the 54 of Caleb Gilbert.
Yeah, not sure what's happened to the 56 machine, but really fallen off a cliff here in the last handful of laps as he's gone from battling for the lead to the back here. And I heard from our producer might have gotten into the outside wall is the 56 of James Loveland. You can might be able to see some side damage there, but up front here comes John Fike. Justice, I thought he was going to take a look to the inside down the back straightaway, but tucked again right up under the rear bumper of the 84 of Devin Hudgens. Kevin Orlando there as well, and here comes Kyle Diaz as those four have been able to pull away from Caleb Gilbert, James Loveland, and Parker Johnston.
Yeah. Every time Fike gets to that bumper, you see it just kind of die a little bit. As far as the run goes, it allows Kevin to kind of dive underneath him. And we're actually starting to see a little bit of something play out here. As all those guys that had to take the wave around, Trevor, you're starting to have them pit. Getting to a point at fuel strategy and tire where they've just got to make that happen. So interested to see how that works out. Going to stick them back at least a lap down. Some of them maybe further than that. But at some point, these leaders are going to have to pit. You're hoping that maybe you have a shorter time on pit road, can make something happen. A little bit of contact there between Devin Hudgens and John Fike entering 1 and 2.
Yeah, Fike got into the AstroTurf through the dog leg there, trying to get around the lap truck of Trevor Keith. No harm, no foul. They made a little bit of contact, but to keep it clean, that battle for the lead still rages down the back straightaway into 3 as Fike tries to make that inside line work on Hudgens, and behind them Diaz to the inside of the 27 of Kevin Orlando. But we've had the wave arounds pit. They're in the window to make it to the end. Now the question is the leaders, when do you like to make your final pit stop, and how much time are you going to have to make up to the guys who have already made their final pit stop? Justice, as we still watch this battle for the lead as they exit turn number 2.
Yeah, these guys just won't give up this battle for the lead, but you wonder if these guys saw the strategy play out once. Run as long as you can and hope somebody wrecks making a mistake in the pit road. We're hearing word that perhaps Nick Alves made a little bit of a mistake and sped down pit road. So going to end up probably costing himself another lap if that's the case, as he will have to serve a drive-through at the minimum, depending on where that pit road speeding penalty happened. But this battle rages on, and now we see the 26 of Kyle Diaz giving the 84 of Hudgens a good push here. These top 4 just continue to remain under a blanket as we see Loveland has worked back past Parker back behind him, but John Fike going to clear Devin Hudgens. He's going to lead that lap and take a commanding about truck and a half length lead as Kyle Diaz tries to close it off, but here it is with that tight nose when that happens, and now we'll see if John Fike can kind of run away a little bit.
Let's see what he's able to do. Caleb Gilbert, the truck that was in 5th position there for a couple of laps, came down pit road. So the first of our top, I would say, lead pack of 7 drivers. He was the first one to come down pit road, but here comes some more. John Fike, Devin Hudgens, Parker Johnston, James Loveland all going to come down pit road as the 84 spins it out on entry. Justice, you see it right there. Too much rear brake, and Devin Hudgens goes around, and that pretty much is going to be the end of his night unless there's a late race caution.
Yep, you see that as we were talking about the whole time. Don't make a mistake. Get down to here. It's all about the execution. And as competitive as this league is, Trevor, in this truck series and the Cup series, we see it all the time. Every mistake is under a magnifying glass. You cannot make the mistake of getting into pit road hot, heavy, and turning the truck around, turning the car around. You just end up throwing your race away very quickly. End up a lap down when you shouldn't, and you're just kind of stuck. So we see this start to cycle around as Kyle Diaz, Kevin Orlando remain out right now. Grant Thorpe, one of those guys, took the wave around. He has run super long here. He's got to be getting ready to pit as well. To be honest, Kyle Diaz, Kevin Orlando, they can run probably 7-8 more laps. So it's more so about time lost at this point to a guy like John Fike, who's in 11th right now has made his pit stop. Caleb Gilbert has made his pit stop. Chris Stamper made his just a few laps before. So, yeah, that's who's most important right now is how much time are you losing to them, and can you catch the caution at the right time?
Yeah, that's the question. It looks like the 26 Kyle Diaz is going to bring that machine down pit road for his final pit stop. Kevin Orlando going to stay out for another lap. And, I'm worried about how much time the 26 is going to lose, not only to the likes of John Fike, but as well, the other guys that he was battling with Hudgens, Loveland, and Johnson. So we'll have to wait and see. Kevin Orlando going to stay out for another lap along with Grant Turner, Joseph Gingeron down pit road in the 86 machine. I think that just leaves Wayne Lowe, Chris Schaefer, and Tay McDonald is the other couple of drivers that haven't pit. And here comes Kevin Orlando. Justice, we get the onboard shot as he brings that 27 machine down pit road. Oh, and Grant Thorpe spins it out on the entrance to pit road. More issues. I think Justice might have a little bit of technical issues, but Grant Thorpe spins it out on pit road entry. So we've seen pit road speeding. We've seen two trucks spin down pit road, and now this is going to leave the 29 of Tay McDonald out there as one of the final trucks to make his pit stop. He works his way through 1 and 2, 15 laps left to go as we work green flag pit stops here. And all the incidents that we've seen on pit road entry have been into the pits, so no caution yet. We'll wait and see where everybody kind of cycles out. But right now it's going to be Tay McDonald, Wayne Lowe, Chris Schaefer, Caleb Gilbert, Kevin Orlando, Kyle Diaz is going to be the top 5 here as we still work green flag pit stops and Tay stays out for another lap.
Yeah, as we see, Caleb Gilbert's first of the guys that pitted. He's got about 5 lap older tires than Kyle Diaz, 6 lap older tires than Kevin Orlando. Had a little bit of a struggle there. It looked like getting up to speed down the back straightaway. So not quite sure what's going on with Kevin, but it appears this battle, if this continues to cycle through green flag pit stops, is going to come down to Caleb Gilbert and Kyle Diaz. And how much time can Kyle Diaz make up to Caleb? As he's about 2 seconds back, a second and 3/4 back of Caleb right now. Is that tire advantage you have going to make up that difference there, Trevor?
And we'll wait and see. John Fike about a second behind Diaz, trying to close in on that battle. Here goes Gilbert to the inside of the 23 of Chris Schaefer, who's yet to make his pit stop for the night. Is Caleb finally able to get that pass done with? But Tay McDonald, Wayne Lowe, they still stay out here. Believe Tay McDonald is going to bring that 29 machine down pit road. And actually, no, just lets off. Wayne Lowe now going to inherit the race lead as we work now 12 laps to go, Justice. As it looks like top 2 still yet to make their pit stop. 3 of the top 5 yet to make their pit stop. As Caleb Gilbert, you can see here, working his way into 1 and 2.
Yeah, once it's cycled this far through the cycle, Trevor, these guys like Wayne Lowe, Tay McDonald are really just hoping for a prayer. To be quite honest, once it cycles this far, there's so many cars or trucks, my apologies, that have already pitted. They're not as likely to make a mistake. They're super spread out. As we see that tonight, you kind of got some patches where there's 2 or 3 trucks, but it's a whole lot of single file, 7-8 car lengths off of each other. So these guys kind of trying to avoid the inevitable, or man, they think that clutch works really well, but at the rate Caleb's catching them, I don't care how good that clutch works. You're not winning staying out there. So got to try to throw a Hail Mary, maybe go down, get 2 tires, see if that can help you kind of maintain some of the track position. But yeah, at this point, your strategy's kind of made. You're probably going to finish somewhere in the teens without a little bit of luck here.
Yeah, you probably will. This is a battle right here. This would be essentially for second place between John Fike, Kyle Diaz. And if you're both of these drivers, you don't want to battle too long as you're going to lose time to Caleb Gilbert. You want to get this settled and hope that the driver can pull you up there to the other, to that 54 machine. It looks like Fike clear of Diaz as they work their way now into 3 and 4, trying to run down that 54 machine of Caleb Gilbert, Justice, who's trying to catch up to Wayne Lowe and Tay McDonald. He's caught up to the 34 machine, which subsequently means he's caught up to Tay McDonald, who just took the lead back from Wayne Lowe as they work through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and John Fike closing that gap to Caleb Gilbert very quickly. It's down to about 3/4 of a second. And as they try to work that lap traffic, it's going to make it tough on Caleb. If that lap traffic continues to remain too wide, and then you've got Wayne Lowe and Tay McDonald up there, as we see Wayne Lowe pitting here, and he gets a little bit of a slap from Fike. Fike into the outside wall. Man, that's a tough break. You do not want to see that if you're John Fike. You got to wonder what was said over the radio there if Wayne announced he was coming and maybe Fike missed it. But now we see it's a battle, I guess, between Kyle Diaz and Caleb Gilbert as these guys continue to work the lap traffic, work around Tay, and we'll see. These guys are about, half second apart or so.
What looked like could have been a back-to-back race win for John Fike might be out the window after that contact with Wayne Lowe as he was making a pit stop, but he's been able to tag on to the back of Kevin Orlando, Parker Johnston, so we'll see if that's going to work out for him. It's going to be Kyle Diaz trying to catch up to the 20 or to the 54 machine, but right behind him, here comes Kevin Orlando, Parker Johnston. They've been able to close in now, so if Diaz gets to battle with Caleb Gilbert, Justice, I mean, this is about a five-truck battle here for the lead with 7 laps to go.
Yes, Kevin Orlando has cycled his way back up. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to. He was so slow getting up to speed there down the back straightaway when he came out of the pits, but we got Parker Johnston working his way in it too. So this is interesting to see Kyle Diaz make the 3-wide move with the lap truck of Nick Alves there as he gets to the outside of Caleb Gilbert. Let's see if Kevin Orlando tries to execute that same move.
Yeah, Kevin's not going to waste any time. He's going to follow the 26 machine of Diaz. They're on a little bit fresher tires compared to that of the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. Gilbert not going to put up much of a fight as he's going to let those two go and try to race this thing out. Now it's going to be a battle between Diaz, Orlando. 5 laps to go as they cross the line. Parker Johnston to the inside of the 54 machine as he's going to try to move his way up into third. John Fike, a non-factor after the damage that he sustained on the exit of turn number 4, has left himself in 5th position and falling back. But Justice looks like right now it's a 2-horse race unless Parker can get up there to the 27 and 26, but those two pulling away here through 3 and 4.
Yeah, 27 and 26 probably going to put on a pretty good show here. We see Kevin push a little too hard there, getting to that outside wall, and that's going to cost him quite a bit of time. You wonder how quickly he can make up a run here. This is very tough in these trucks.
It's going to be tough, but he's got a little bit of help. It's the lap traffic truck, the 39 machine of Dominic Hughes. It's going to hold up the 26 of Kyle Diaz on the exit of turn number 1 and 2. That's going to allow Kevin to get that run back through 3 and 4, though. Kevin's going to drive it in hard, and this could be where Diaz catches a little bit of a break as Hughes might slow up the 27, but actually, I think he's on a little bit fresher tires and going to put himself right in between our 2 race leaders.
Yeah, and this is tough. If you're Kevin, you're back here right now saying, come on, man, don't. I know you raced him pretty hard. Please don't race me this hard, but yeah, Kevin just the tire disadvantage Kevin's at to this 39 truck's going to kind of trap him back there. Kind of unfortunate. You want to see those lead lap trucks battle it out, but everybody's got a spot on track, including that 39 truck, regardless of where he's at in the standings. So yeah, he's going to continue to run his race. Puts himself between first and second here as we take the 2 to go there, Trevor. These boys are wanting to battle. I promise you that 26, though, loves what he's seeing in that rearview mirror.
Yeah, I think Diaz just saw everything he needed to see. Dominic Hughes basically just ended Kevin Orlando's chances to get a win here tonight as Diaz now pulls out to about a 0.6 of a second lead. He's got to get around one more lap truck. That's going to be Grant Thorpe in the 77 machine, who we saw have a spin down pit road. But at turn number 4, looking for the white flag, it's going to be Kyle Diaz Justice one more time around for the 26.
Yeah, he may solve a few problems for us. This man's going to be look like our biggest mover of the race and the race winner with a couple of more clean corners. I don't want to say anything too soon. Last time somebody got anointed with a win, like in real life, we saw Justin Allgaier just pile drive it into the fence. But a couple of clean corners here. Looks like you're going to have that 26 truck pull into victory lane here at Charlotte, Trevor.
Out of turn number 4 he comes. Kyle Diaz looking for the checkered flag, cross the line. 3 races, 3 different winners. Kyle Diaz gets it done here for the QSR Paints 200 from Charlotte. He's going to get the win. Kevin Orlando going to come home second. Parker Johnston with a nice run up into third. Caleb Gilbert is 4th, and John Fike will round out the top 5. Justice fireworks going off down the back straightaway. Diaz is going to bring it around and get some burnouts in, and we're going to talk to our race winner once he's done with the celebrations.
Yeah, this is a heck of a win there for Kyle Diaz, coming back from 30th place to start. But again, it was kind of what we figured we were going to see there, Trevor. Those guys that ran long before that that last caution were the ones that end up getting out of here, finishing 1st through 6th. or those guys. It was just that was the way it was going to work. These guys made it happen, went out there, ran hard. As we're getting ready to pull Kyle Diaz into the booth, ask him a couple questions here, Trevor.
Yeah, Diaz burning it down. Nice little donut there. We're going to park it at the start finish line, but it's going to give us a chance now to talk to our race winner, the 26 machine of Kyle Diaz, as we wait to get him into the booth and let him do a little bit more celebrating there as he does a nice little burnout. But we got our race winner, the 26 machine, Kyle Diaz. It's Trevor and Justice up in the booth, man. How you feeling after that one?
Oh, I'm feeling terrific, man. Feels freaking so good to finally get this win. I feel like I missed a few opportunities here, but feels good to finally get it done here tonight in the Truck Series.
Yeah, he started 30th tonight, Kyle. How tough was it being patient, making your way up through the field, knowing that the runs were there, knowing you had a good enough truck? All you had to do is keep it clean.
Yeah, I made a few mistakes in the beginning. Like I got into the back of the 39, which I feel really terrible about. Like I don't know what happened coming to the green there, but overall I was able to keep the truck clean and just bide my time and save the tires and make my way up there, and ultimately get the win.
Well, Kyle, the last handful of laps there, you're doing battle with John Fike and Kevin Orlando, and Fike unfortunately made some contact there with, I believe, a truck pitting. But you and Kevin battling out for the win. The lap truck kind of gets in the middle of it. I mean, what were your thoughts there as y'all were racing for the win and kind of dealing with the lap traffic?
Yeah, it kind of caught me by surprise too. Well, I did hear him say he was going to call it out, but we were kind of far back into turn 3, and we just caught them a bit fast, and Fike just got caught off guard, I guess. It sucks that we weren't able to battle it out there, but I'm glad with the result that I got. And good race too to Kevin. That was a fun race right there.
Well, Kyle, it was a great race to watch. Bristol next week. Any thoughts on that? And any shout outs you want to give us before we let you get out of here and go celebrate?
Oh yeah, Bristol. I'm gonna have to get some practice there because I'm not too good there on the truck. But shout out, of course, to my team, R4F. Just proud of us and the effort that we put into these races, and I'm just happy that I was finally able to get us a result.
Well, Kyle, congratulations on the win. We will see you next week at Bristol. And again, congratulations.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
That was our race winner, the 26, Kyle Diaz. And we're going to step aside, take a quick commercial break as we get our second place finisher, Kevin Orlando, our third place finisher, Parker Johnston, up in the booth, as well with a surprise guest. But we'll be right back for the continuation of the post race after this quick commercial break. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series. We just spoke to our winner, Kyle Diaz. Now we're going to bring up the second place finisher, Kevin Orlando. Kevin is Trevor and Justice in the booth, man. Yeah, you were so close there at the end. I mean, walk us through those last couple of laps and how you're feeling about tonight.
Man, that's after we got that last caution. I knew it was just going to be a little short on fuel. Had to try to see what we could make with that to not get caught out if we got another caution there with that final fuel stop. Definitely felt like we had something for him there coming to the end. Felt like we had a little bit more speed, but catching to the lap traffic, it just, all that dirty air took every opportunity away I had, and then it was just too late. But great win for Kyle there. He was faster all night. At one point he was a lap down, drove all the way back through the field. So I got to give him credit where it's due. That was a fantastic drive from him, but it was a fun race altogether.
Yeah, I want you to kind of walk us through it, Kevin. How frustrating was it maybe not catching a little bit of a break there from the 39 truck let you by there and try to battle the 26 there a little more at the end?
It was frustrating at first. Um, that's if I had had a little bit more pace, I'll be honest, I probably would have moved him. But once he broke my momentum there, I couldn't even get to him. You know, that with the clean air being so important to get these trucks to turn here, just once he broke that momentum, I was stuck. I was stuck, so there was nothing I could do. But yeah, I would have wished he would have given a little bit more courtesy, but he didn't give any courtesy to the 26 either. So he just did a better job getting around him, and it's racing. It's a big part of it.
Well, Kevin, on next week to Bristol for race number 4. How you feeling about next week?
I don't know. I'll figure it out when we get there.
Well, that spoken like a true racer. I feel like. Well, Kevin, again, congratulations on the second place finish. Before we let you out of here, the floor is yours for any shout outs you want to give.
Just got to thank you guys over at Riva Racing Network putting on a great broadcast. Coastal Financial and Slurp Sodas, along with who we got tonight, QSR Paints, for putting up this great race. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, Kevin, again, congratulations on the second place, and we will see you next week at Bristol.
All right, thank you.
Our second place finisher, Kevin Orlando. Now we're going to bring in our third place finisher, Parker Johnston. Parker, it's Trevor and Justice up in the booth. How you feeling after that one tonight?
I'm exhausted.
That wasn't quite the answer I was expecting there, Parker. It took me a minute. It was a great run there, bud. Anything you think you could have done? Maybe get up there and steal that win from the 26?
I should have saved tires. I actually saved tires for once. But I should have done a better job. And maybe I would have had the chance to beat Kyle.
Well, Parker, it's surprising to hear you say you saved tires well, but good to hear it because you're going to need it next week's Bristol. Thoughts on going to Bristol next week?
Not excited at all. I suck there, but I'll be practicing a lot to get that win.
Well, we're excited to see what show you're going to put on for us at Bristol, Parker. And before we let you go, any shout outs you want to give us?
Shout out to my parents for watching, grandparents, teacher, you guys. Thanks for a great broadcast. And this amazing league.
Well, thank you, Parker, and congratulations again on the third place finish. And we will see you next week at Bristol.
Thank you, guys.
Was our third place finisher, Parker Johnston. And now for our surprise guest, the man who was up 25 spots from where he started, had a shot at getting the win tonight, but a late pit road mistake takes the 84 out of contention. It's going to be Devin Hudgens in the 84 machine. Devin, a little bit of a heartbreak, but it's got to feel good to have the speed you had. How you feeling after that one tonight?
Exactly that. A little heartbroken because I did have the potential to win, and I'm glad that I bounced back to a top 10. I'm definitely glad about that.
Well, you got that 84 machine up there in the win, led 15 laps tonight. I mean, how do you feel when you come to a place like this and in a truck, make it really hard to pass, working your way through traffic? I mean, to work it all the way to the lead there, was there any doubt in your mind after qualifying, or was there some concern?
Definitely so. I did not have that good of a qualifying lap, as you've seen. I started next to last, and I wasn't expecting to get up front as fast as I did, to be honest. Just I guess a little bit of pit strategy and a little bit of luck came through my side today, and like you said, it was kind of hard to pass, and even if you had a chance to pass, you had to fight for it. It took 2, 3, 4 laps just to pass somebody, and once the tires wore down, it was even worse.
Well, I mean, Devin, you did a great job working through the field, and on that final pit stop, you slide into pit road, do a little spin around. Did it change up your pit strategy there at all, or was it still 4 tires, or did you change it up to take 2 so you didn't lose a lot of time?
I was planning on taking two to begin with, but I did not change my pitch strategy. I took two tires and fuel and went about my way.
That was a good call there after the unfortunate spin, but nonetheless a great run for you. You're on to Bristol next week. Thoughts on that, and of course, any shout outs you want to give us before we let you out of here?
Yeah, definitely love Bristol. I had a really good finish there when we ran the Cup Series there. So I'm very excited to run there again in the trucks. I would definitely like to shout out my dad, my sister. I'm sure they show their support today. They always do. Anybody else, gotta give my shout out to Waylon Turner, who did my truck under or not my grandfather, my uncle's passing. It was really cool for him to do that for me.
Well, Devin, again, congratulations on being the spotlight driver. Congratulations on the run tonight, being the second biggest mover of the race, and on the 8th place finish. And we will see you next week at Bristol.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
And Justice, that's our spotlight driver, the 84 machine of Devin Hudgens, getting the 8th place finish after leading some laps, having a good performance tonight. But overall tonight, great race. Saw some great battling up front all night long. Kyle Diaz going to get the win with Kevin Orlando, Parker Johnston, Caleb Gilbert, John Fike, the top 5. But I mean, from the drop of the green flag, I don't think really anybody got out to more than a half a second lead until we got to that checkered flag.
Yeah, you didn't really see any big leads come tonight. I think the biggest one was probably pre-stage, and then as we're cycling through pit stops. But yeah, nobody jumped out. These boys put on a great show once again for us, even though it looks like about 10 cars finished lead lap, 11 cars. So don't let that fool you. That wasn't indicative of just how good that race was. The varying strategies, we kind of saw them go all over the place. Mistakes, non-mistakes, guys making mistakes, working their way back up. So things you love to see when you see a mixed bag, probably similar to what we'll see next week at Bristol, where you're going to have some heartache and you're going to have some hot heads, but at the end of the day, it's probably going to be about the execution and who can kind of do it the best.
Yeah, next week, Bristol, track that likes to eat tires, eat race cars, whether it be the trucks, next gen cars, or Xfinity cars. Cannot wait to get that one as we go short track racing next Monday. But if you want more great racing action from the Racing Revolution family, be sure to tune in Wednesday night as the Racing Revolution Cup Series tackles the Super Speedway of Talladega over on the V Speed Network. If you want to hear more from us for more great short track racing, tune in Thursday night to the Revo Racing Network as we cover the TTR Short Track Series brought to you by Highland Homes Roofing for their third round of the playoffs as they get ready to go to the Bull Ring. And then we'll be back here again on Monday night for the Coastal Financial Truck Series as they go to Bristol Motor Speedway. But that's going to be it for us tonight. Myself, Trevor Earhart, Justice Murphy, and Rob Rader running the productions. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series for the QSR Paints 200. And that great finish. Congratulations to Kyle Diaz. And we will see you at our next broadcast Thursday night.